Welcome to the Holistic Accountant Podcast. The aim of this podcast is to demonstrate how accountants must employ a holistic approach to help their clients maximise wealth. It's not just about preparing tax returns. So each week, Mena and I will discuss topics to help you better understand some of the things your holistic accountant can help you with. Okay, today we're going to talk about the top 3 reasons why accountants recommend self-managed super funds. So Mena, in your experience, what are the top 3 reasons they do that?
So first reason is that they want to buy a commercial premises. So generally we find with clients that they want to buy the property that their business is being operated out of.
Yep.
Now that does have some merits, however not all properties necessarily are investment grade. So you've got to ask yourself, if you're going to be putting all your eggs in one basket, whether
Yep.
it makes sense, whether the property is going to be performing for you in the long term. Now, the second reason is because clients just ask their accountants to set up a self-managed super fund. Now, generally accountants have a vested interest in establishing a self-managed super fund because there's sort of large establishment fees involved and ongoing compliance fees. Now, a good holistic accountant should be basically counselling their clients as to whether setting up a self-managed super fund fits into their overall financial plan. So if your accountant is basically just being trigger happy and telling you to set up a self-managed super fund, just ask some more questions.
Yeah, that's right. And I think when, if a client comes to us and says, I want to set up a self-managed super, or I've spoken to someone, or, my uncle has done it, let's do it as well, something along those lines, you've really got to stop and ask the client, what benefits are you looking for? Why do you really want to set up a it could be the right answer, but often there's a lot of different ways that you can achieve better outcomes with super. So if it's control you're looking for, or, obviously if you want to buy your practice premises, or your business premises, well then that's the only way to do it is through a self-managed super fund. So of course that makes sense. But yeah, you've got to dig a bit deeper, I think, and not all accountants do that. They really just follow the advice. They're sort of order takers. Benefits them because obviously they get to charge more fees, but doesn't always benefit the client.
That's right. And the third reason you just touched on, Stuart, is control. A lot of clients like to control what their super is invested in, but you don't necessarily need a self-managed super fund for that, do you, Stuart?
No, that's right. And, also as accountants, when a client comes to us and says, I want to set up a self-managed super fund, we always ask them, what is your investment strategy? And look, from a compliance perspective, every super fund needs to have an investment strategy, and it's really just a compliance document. So it's not about, the question's not directed at that. It's really just making sure that if someone's got an idea to set up their self-managed super fund, how are they going to invest those monies? Because there's a lot of, in fact, the ATO stats show that, firstly, self-managed super funds, the biggest segment of superannuation. So there's more invested in self-managed super funds than, say, in industry super funds, which doesn't make a lot of sense. And then secondly, in the stats, you can see that a lot of cash is held in self-managed super funds. So people have the idea, I'm going to take control of my super and set up a self-managed super fund. They put all their money into it. They roll over all their super funds into that account, and it just sits in cash. So, control is one thing, but, you've got to make sure that you actually have a strategy to execute so that you're going to earn a decent return. Otherwise, if you're not going to do it, or you feel like you'll get distracted by day-to-day stuff, then maybe you're better off leaving your super in a different environment. So really sum up, they're the 3 reasons: buy a commercial premises just because their clients directed them, or their accountants directed them, and thirdly, for control. But our belief is that you need to be really clear on the reasons why you want to set up a self-managed super fund, and explore really whether a self-managed super fund is the most cost-effective way to achieve that. Thanks a lot. Thank you for listening to the Holistic Accountant Podcast. To find out more, please visit holisticaccountant.com.au.